What is up, you guys? Today we're going to show you how to make organic pizza. As you can see here, it says organic, so you know I'm not lying. So we're going to need some yeast, we're going to need a teaspoon of sugar, and 1/4 cup of water. So we get our bowl, and we heat the yeast into the bowl, like the, oh, nope. Alright, I'm struggling. Yeah. Alright, now that I have a knife, we're gonna stab the bag the same way Becky stabbed me in the back. Becky, if you're listening to this, I hate you. And we're gonna drain all the yeast out of the bag the same way Becky drained out all the life and fun out of our relationship. We're gonna just try to empty every single little bit out the same way Becky did. Just try to get every single last gram of yeast. I think there's still a little bit in there, the same way Becky looked to find all my happiness and take it. Let me gash in a little bit more, see if I can find something. And would you look at that, it was on top. Alright, so now that we have all our yeast emptied out into the bowl, we're gonna add the 1 teaspoon of sugar. Personally, I like soko sugar, which is brown sugar, because, you know, I like to stick to my kind. And we pour in a big teaspoon. That way the yeast have plenty to eat. It helps accelerate the process a little bit and makes the yeast fluff up faster. So we add our 1/4 cup of water, warm water, which is making me want to pee. And we pour one out for the homies, and we baptize the yeast. And after this, you want to mix it up a little bit. Just kind of get the sugar and the water go all in between the yeast. You want to let the yeast rest for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it starts to bubble, and then we get ready for the rest. Alright, so while I was waiting those 15 minutes, I decided to make myself a delicious quesadilla. As you can see here, it's nice and cheesy, absolutely delicious, because my fat ass couldn't wait for the pizza. But as you can see here, the yeast is ready. It's already kind of yellowish and it has a few bubbles, and that's when you know it's already at its full potential. So now we're gonna mix it with the flour. So we move everything aside. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to go to that shady family member, you know the one, or those people standing at the edge of your corner that you are 100% sure are selling dope, and you want to get this ounce measure. So you want to put the bowl on top, and of course you want to subtract the weight depending on which ounce measure you have, and you want to add about 300 to 400 grams of flour. Now these ounce measures are pretty common everywhere weed is legalized, so you guys shouldn't have any problems finding it. You can find it at your local superstore or wherever. Alright, now that we've added about 400 grams of flour, we're gonna mix in the yeast. And this is exactly what 400 grams of flour looks like, for those of you paying attention. And now we're gonna pour all the yeast in there the same way I poured all my love and affection into the relationship with Becky. And just like in this instance, it wasn't enough. So we're gonna need help from somewhere else, or someone else in that situation. But in this case, we're gonna get about 100 grams of water. That way we can start forming that consistency. Of course, 100 grams isn't always enough. You can add more later on, but 100 grams is a good baseline to start. So we get the water and we pour it in. And from there I'm gonna get my spoon and we mix it up so we start getting that dough consistency. Also, just like Becky, she was very salty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add about a tablespoon of salt, and this really kind of helps give the dough some more flavor. You might be thinking, it's just salt, dude, like what's that gonna do? But trust me, it helps. So I'm gonna peel a bit of the dough because I'm too lazy to go get another spoon. And oh, it's all over me. Oh, okay, well, now we're just gonna add the salt into the tablespoon. Teaspoon, my bad. It's too tiny to be a tablespoon. We're gonna pour it all over. And we're gonna whip it up together. Forget it. Just forget it. Anyways, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, get that salt everywhere. And we're also gonna wanna add a tablespoon of olive oil. So we're gonna peel off the dough again because I'm too lazy to get another spoon. And we're gonna get the good stuff. This is olive oil, imported straight from Africa. And we're gonna do about a teaspoon of that too. Or maybe just a little bit more than a teaspoon. I'll let it run a little bit because that's what gives the dough a really good consistency and makes it super smooth. So then we mix it up even more. So there's still a bit of clumps left, so we're gonna add some more water in there. Just like Becky needed some water because she was a thirsty hoe. Alright, as you can see here, we kind of start forming the ball. The technique that you want to do is just kind of rotate and push, rotate, push, rotate, push, rotate, push. And sometimes you might want to put flour on your hand so it doesn't stick. But as you can see, when you're pushing it down, you can see the sides are kind of smooth. But push down, push down, push, and you're gonna definitely see it. That starts getting smoother. Alright, now that we've knit the dough, as you can kind of see, it's smoother. There aren't those little like dimples in it anymore. You kind of want to get into this consistency. But once you've got it kind of smoothed out like this, we want to put some olive oil into a bowl and you want to let it rest for a little bit. So we get our olive oil and we pour it into the bowl. You want to get a good amount, that way it doesn't start to stick to the sides because it's going to expand. You just kind of want to spread it thin over the edges, just like my patience was spread thin with Becky. Becky, if you're listening to this, I hate you. But yeah, you just kind of want to get it all over. Kind of like that. And then you want to put your dough in there. And then you want to get the oldest mantle in your house and put it on top. This is really going to help it expand. And we're going to leave it in there for about 20 minutes. So go make something else to eat. Alright, so now that we've let the dough rest, you can kind of see it's expanded a little bit more. It's gone a little bit smoother. And it still has that olive oil on the edges to keep it from sticking. So in the meantime, while we let it rest just a little bit more, we're gonna get all our ingredients ready for the pizza. So what you guys want to do is you want to get the most floral plate you can and stick a loaf of bread on it. Just kidding, that's cheese. And this is a monster cheese because it's what I had. And we're gonna grate it because freshly grated cheese is the best cheese. And everybody knows that. So we're gonna stick it in there and grate it just the same way Becky grated my heart. Becky, if you're listening to this, I hate you. And we're just gonna get every single last piece of it shredded. The same way my heart was shredded at the end of the relationship. Alright, now that we've grated all the cheese, we're gonna move on to one of the most important aspects, which is the sauce. Here we have some crushed red tomatoes, crushed like my will to live after dating Becky. And we strained all the water out of these tomatoes because we really want a thicker consistency. If your sauce is too watery, it kind of compromises the structural integrity of the pizza, so you really want that thicker sauce. And we're gonna season it now because nobody wants ketchup on their pizza. They want pizza sauce, marinara sauce, that good stuff. The spices that we're gonna use is black pepper, black just like my soul after dating Becky. We're gonna add a good bit in there. And then we're gonna add some garlic. And you want to be generous with the garlic to kind of ward off any vampires or to just kind of prevent you from talking to any other girls that could possibly be psychotic and ruin your life forever. And then we're gonna add some onion powder, and nothing came out, just like me when I was speechless after Becky told me that she cheated on me. So we're gonna cover it back up, give it a little tap, and hopefully something should come out, right? Yep, okay, yeah. We're gonna add some onion powder. And then we're gonna add that green, that good, you know? Those Italian seasonings. We're gonna put it all over, and we're gonna be generous with this too. Alright, so now we mix it up, we whip it up, we turn it, we flip the bag, and then once you've got them all put in there, just like Becky's attitude, we're gonna add some salt in there. You know, just add a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. We're gonna mix everything together. And you know, if it's still too watery, you could add some tomato paste, just because having a thicker sauce really does make a difference. Alright, so some of you guys might want to use pepperoni, but in my case, I prefer to use some chorizo. So we're gonna cut it up, just the way Becky threatened to cut up my chorizo if I ever looked at another girl. But yeah, we're gonna cut it up into kind of pepperoni-like slices. Of course, this is a little bit smaller, but we're still gonna do our best to cut it into nice, round, thin slices. And you know what me and this 6-inch chorizo both have in common? We're both Mexican, of course. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we're gonna want to cut it into these thin pieces, and I personally love to use chorizo on the pizza because once the grease kind of melts from the chorizo all over the pizza, it's gonna transfer that flavor and it just gives it an awesome umami taste. Now that we've cut all the chorizo and we've let the dough rest, some people want to cut it into 2 balls, and that's if you want to make like a thick crust, you know. But me personally, I like the thin crust. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna want to take the dough out of the bowl, and you guys might be thinking, whoa, that's a lot of oil, but that actually comes in handy when you're spreading out the dough onto the pan. And you guys might be saying, oh, it's a non-stick pan, but trust me, it still sticks, and the oil helps. So yeah, and what you want to do is you just kind of want to push out all those air bubbles because it was rising and it still has the bubbles in it. And I'm gonna cut into 3 pieces just because I like the thinner crust, and I'm gonna cut into it the same way Becky cut into my heart and shattered it to pieces. That's beside the point. Some people decide to cut into 4 pieces because they're OCD and they love symmetry, but I decided to cut it into 3 because that just happened to be the perfect amount for the amount of pizza that I was making. But it's honestly up to you. Alright, here I have my dough balls, and I cut it into 3 pieces and I kind of rolled it around. You know, you can cut into 3 or 4 pieces. Personally, I cut it into 3, but it's up to you. So I have them here. I kind of made them into a ball. And what you want to do with the 2 extra pieces in the meantime is you want to let them rest. So you can go get a plate, cover it with saran wrap, and kind of let them rest for a little bit. You can let them rest up to about 4 days. I wouldn't recommend any more because it gives a really strong sourdough flavor. Some people are into it, some people aren't. Me personally, since it was like an instantaneous kind of thing, I just decided to let it rest for about 20 minutes, but it's honestly up to you. So what you want to do is you want to get the dough ball and put it into the center. Kind of want to squish it and work your way around it. Work your way from the middle out, and just kind of manipulate it in your hands the same way Becky manipulated me into giving her all my money and all my time and all my love and affection for something that I wouldn't ever receive back. And you know, like I said, that olive oil is gonna come in handy when spreading out that pizza dough. So you kind of want to start from the middle out, pushing the edges because those edges are what is going to make the pizza crust. So you want to work your way out little by little. Right, and as you can see here, I'm kind of reaching the edges, and you can see a few of wider spots. That's where the dough is thinnest, and that's why I said you don't want your sauce to be all that thin, or else the sauce is gonna bleed through those thin points and it's gonna be a mess of a pizza. So you really want that sauce to be thick, and of course the pizza is gonna harden in the oven, so you don't have to worry too much, but still it is recommended. Alright, as you guys can see, I finally kind of pushed it to the edge. See a little bit more thinner spots, but all that hardens up. That's why you also don't want your sauce to be that thin, or else those spots are gonna bleed through with pizza sauce. Alright, so now that we have our dough kind of spread out, like you can see here, we're gonna add our pizza sauce, and you kind of want to put a dollop in the middle, right there, and you want to spread it out. And you don't want to put too much sauce or else it's gonna bleed through. Like I said, you don't want too much moisture, but you kind of want to spread it around in a circle evenly. And you guys might think, oh, this isn't enough sauce, but trust me, it's good enough. It'll be alright. So you want to add your sauce, kind of spreading it in a circular motion, preferably with a spoon. If you guys do this with a fork, you're gonna rip up the dough, so don't be a dumbass. Yeah, you kind of want to get those edges. And then we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, as you can see, all our ingredients are spread out, and now we're gonna go and stick it into the oven. And what I recommend you guys do is you want to stick it into the bottom shelf of the oven, and you want to preheat your oven to the hottest setting. By doing this, you kind of get the hot air on top, cooking all the ingredients, melting that cheese, cooking that chorizo, and also since it's closer to the source of the heat at the bottom, it's really gonna make that crust crispy. Alright, and now after all that work, you guys finally have your pizza, and you guys still have enough ingredients to make 3 more. So if you guys like this video, please tell me, subscribe, like it, tell me what other videos you guys want to watch, and if I should keep this up. Also, Becky, I hate you, and see you guys next time. Bye.